Hello and welcome back to Culture TV. By the end of this video, you should be able to use adjectives and other phrases to describe yourself in Russian. Let's start from the absolute basics. To introduce yourself, you should use the phrase "my name is." In Russian, that will be "Меня зовут." Меня зовут. This literally means "they call me," but the translation is something like "I get called" or "I am called." Remember that this phrase uses the accusative case. You're going to have to use a different list of pronouns. Not I, not he, not we, but rather me, him, us, and so on. Here is a list of all the pronouns in the accusative case. Меня, тебя, его, ее, его, again for neuter, нас, вас, их. Remember that in Russian the letter G very often, if it is found between two vowels, changes its G sound to a V sound. This is just an exception. Usually you would read it as G, of course. Another example is сегодня, which means today. The Russian word for name is имя. Имя. Never use this word to say my name is. It doesn't work like that in Russian. You have to say I get called. The question, what's your name in Russian, will be Как тебя зовут? If you want to be more polite, you have to substitute тебя with вас, ideally with a capital letter. To talk about your age, you use the phrase мне, then your age, and then лет or года, depending on what number your age ends in. We'll look at that in just a moment. This phrase takes the dative case. The list of pronouns for the dative case is as follows. Мне, тебе, ему, ей, ему, нам, вам, им. These lists of pronouns here are useful if you want to ask other people what their name is or how old they are, or if generally you're talking about someone else's name or someone else's age. And the Russian word for age is возраст. Возраст. You use the word года if your age ends in 1, 2, 3, or 4, with the exception of 11, 12, 13, and 14. For all other ages, you say лет. For example, if I'm 21 years old, I will say мне 21 год. 22, мне 22 года. 53, мне 53 года. 34, мне 34 года. For all other ages, it's лет. Мне 20 лет. Мне 29 лет. And so on and so on. To ask someone about their age, you say сколько тебе лет. Likewise, if you want to be formal, you say сколько вам лет. To talk about siblings, you have to use the construction I have. In Russian, that is у меня, and then нет братьев и сестер, which means I'm an only child. I have no brothers or sisters. Notice that in Russian there is no word for sibling. У меня нет братьев и сестер. Or, for example, у меня есть один брат и две сестры. I have one brother and two sisters. У меня есть два брата и одна сестра. I have two brothers and one sister. You can carry on making these combinations for other numbers. You just have to be very careful with the way you change the endings of the word брат and сестра. One brother is один брат. Two brothers is два брата. Три брата, three brothers. Четыре брата, and so on and so on. For sisters, it's одна сестра, one sister, две сестры, two sisters, три сестры, three sisters, and so on. If you want to say that you don't have brothers or sisters, you have to use the genitive case. The genitive case in Russian is used whenever there is an absence of something. Whenever you want to say there is no or there are no. У меня нет братьев и сестер. So remember, whenever you use the word нет in Russian, with the exception of when you want to say no, you have to follow with the genitive case. Нет братьев и сестер. Now let's talk about describing yourself in terms of your character, your personality traits, and other qualities. You can use the following phrases. Я считаю, что я something человек, which means I believe that I am a something person. Многие говорят, что many people say that. Мои друзья думают, что my friends think that. Моим родителям кажется, что my parents think that. Let's take each of these phrases one by one and explain how they work. Remember that in Russian there isn't really a verb to be. There's no need to find any conjugation for this verb. You just say я and then adjective and then человек. Многие говорят. Many say. You don't need to use the word people here. Do not say многие люди говорят. That sounds quite off and unnatural. Мои друзья думают, что. Now remember, you can change думают with any other verb that talks about opinions, and likewise with the first phrase. Do check out our video on opinion phrases if you're unsure. And finally, моим родителям кажется, что. It seems to my parents literally is what this means. Remember that when we're using the phrase кажется, which means to seem, anything that follows has to be in the dative case. Моим родителям. Okay? If you're talking about yourself, then мне кажется. I think that, or it seems to me. Тебе кажется, and so on. Remember, we've already seen the list of the dative pronouns. Now let's have a look at some possible adjectives that you can use. Please remember that you're not restricted by the specification for what kind of adjectives you can use. You are free to use any adjective you like. Please just confirm that it's appropriate in the sentence and that it makes sense overall. You can do that by asking me directly. The email is below. Otherwise, you can ask in the comments. Here are some adjectives. Интересный. Интересный. Interesting. Добрый. Добрый. Kind. Умный. Умный. Clever. Ленивый. Ленивый. Lazy. Приятный. Приятный. Pleasant. Серьезный. Серьезный. Serious. Идеальный. Идеальный. Ideal. Уверенный в себе. Уверенный в себе. Self-confident or just confident. Старательный. Старательный. Hardworking. Hardworking or determined. Энергичный. Энергичный. Energetic. And веселый. Веселый. Happy as in joyous. Please remember that this list is for the masculine gender only. If you want to describe a feminine noun, or to describe yourself if you are female, you have to change the endings. Likewise for neuter nouns. For example, добрый will become добрая for girls, or умный will become умное. The «ый» ending, and then «й» always transfers to ая or оє. Now let's take a look at an example paragraph. Pause the video now and try to translate this yourself first. So we have Многие говорят, что я добрый человек. Мне тоже так кажется. Однако мои родители думают, что я не очень уверенный в себе и что я должен больше общаться с друзьями. We've seen the phrase многие говорят on the previous slide already. Many people think that, or many people say, literally, that I am a kind person. Remember, человек is a masculine noun. That means that the adjective before человек has to be masculine as well. Мне тоже так кажется. Remember that кажется has to be used with the dative case. That's why we have мне here. Тоже is also, and this word так is very necessary here. Тоже так together means the same, or in other words, the same seems to me. I agree, I think the same. Так has many meanings in Russian. Very often it is in this way or in such a way. It can also mean such on its own. You just have to be very careful. Мне тоже так кажется. I also think that. Однако, however, мои родители думают, что я не очень уверенный в себе. However, my parents think that I am not very self-confident or just confident. If you are female, remember to change уверенный в уверенное. И что я должен больше общаться с друзьями. Быть должным means to have to, should, need, and so on. Я должен, I have to. Больше means more, so you're making a comparison here. Общаться с друзьями, to talk to my friends. Общаться is a very nice verb. It means to communicate. This can be online, face-to-face, in person, whatever. It's quite a neutral and very commonly used verb in Russia. I strongly recommend that you write this word down. С друзьями. We have the preposition с here, which means with. This means that whatever follows this preposition has to be in the so-called instrumental case. You can either learn how that works, and there will be videos on our channel very soon, or you just memorize с друзьями, with friends. If you have any other questions regarding this topic, GCSE Russian or Russia in general, please do not hesitate to ask in the comments. Good luck, thank you very much for your attention, thank you very much for liking and subscribing, see you next time, goodbye.